pulled over by the police, but we didn't pull over.
When my finger was being crushed, the dinghy was going under, right when I was like at my wit's end. Hurricane a-coming!
We're sailing good, bad, and ugly. 3 years ago, we bought our boat off Craigslist for $5,000. I'm Kristen, and this is Matt. We are known to break the rules and do things a little less traditional. Hit subscribe to join the adventure. Thanks to our patrons for keeping us going. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Sailing GBU. On the last episode, you saw that we finally got that weather window. Well, it wasn't perfect, but it still was good enough to sail on down to Patillas. And we made it, and we were super excited to get here.
Yes, it's a beautiful anchorage. It's a little more protected than I had originally thought. I was like, that's going to be a rolling anchorage just from looking at it on the maps. But it actually does a pretty good job. You can get in real close to shore, pretty good, solid holding. And then the reef wraps around, and we've been here for a couple days, and it's a good little anchorage. We were hyped.
But, the big but.
The big but. All that.
Not that but. The big but is, unfortunately, a storm is on our horizon.
Hurricane a-coming! Yeah, we got to batten down the hatches. Looks like a little one, but you never know how these things move.
It's a tropical storm right now.
Yeah, tropical storm right now.
Might become a hurricane.
Down south, they're going to get some hurricane force stuff. It's going to be not a crazy hurricane, but it's still going to offer some 50, 60 mile an hour winds in some spots, and then possibly can drag some really bad weather behind it. So that's that. We're going to have to deal with that nonsense.
Yeah, we'll get back onto that
Let's talk
later.
about all the bad stuff later. Let's try to focus on the good stuff.
Well, really exciting news. For the past couple days, we've been here, and Matt has been working on a really good project that's going to make my life a lot better. So let's jump into that now.
Keep it. Hey, for all you Tim the Toolman Taylors out there, don't be telling me how to do everything. I only had like 2 tools. I had problems, okay? So don't be over here like, oh, if you use a 44 2 3-inch 5.2 mastic bow. No. I had to do what I had to do.
Okay, now let's get into it.
Alright, so this stove, it took a pooper on us. It gave us a couple years of great service, but now it's becoming a hazard. It got a little bit old and it started to corrode, so it made a bunch of holes in the tubing that feeds the propane. So it just kind of leaks propane out everywhere, and then the propane builds up and just catches on fire over here. So I said, we can't do this anymore. I can't risk beautiful Kristen Davis being exploded. So we're pretty far away from able to replace this with like a brand new one. The new ones are like anywhere from $1,200 to $1,500 for a brand new gimbaled stove. If you don't know what a gimbaled stove is, it rocks back and forth and stays level if you're rocking and sailing, so that your boiling water doesn't fly all over you.
It's old and our oven's already been broken.
Yeah, it's old. The oven ain't working lately, so it's time to show this thing a little bit of love just to upgrade our safety. So what I have to do though is replace all these boo-boo particles because too much gas was coming out and it was just making everything burn. You can see in here the soot that was getting everywhere.
Matthew!
It's good for your skin. But soot was getting everywhere. It was burning up, which that isn't that big of a deal on here, but as you can see, it gets all over our pans. And this is what happens. So when you're bouncing it all around the boat, you're doing dishes, your sponge gets disgusting. You know, we were really running through sponges and we were like, okay, something has to be done. What I'm going to do is take all the innards apart and replace it with my new camp stove particles, which I'll show you outside.
Oh boy, it's pretty dirty.
So my plan is to replace the stove with like camping stove components because camping stoves are available, and with the research that I did, most of the components that do the heating are kind of very similar, and it's just what makes the nautical grade stoves and ranges so much more expensive as they use stainless steel. But for the insides, the guts are pretty much transferable. So what I planned on doing was I'm gonna get a camp stove, rip the guts out, and put it into my nice old marine gimbal stove. So here it is. Here's my Koblenz Walmart special. I was gonna get the camper stove that's like a fold-up
Coleman.
It's like a case. It's all legit, and it did look a little more robust. But that thing was like 60 bucks. This one was only 15, so I headed on down to the neighborhood Walmart and I bought this one.
It was in the summer section.
It was in the summer section, and since it's going to be kind of a Frankenstein botch job anyway, why spend 50 bucks and take something that would work well all apart when we can just use this, because we're only going for the parts anyway. So now we're just getting to it. I'm going to cut this thing all up and throw it in there. Taking this thing apart was whipping my ass. I take back what I said earlier. This thing's made out of the most hardcore marine gauge steels of all times. It was a pain in the ass just ripping that thing out. But now I gotta cut a hole in the back because my propane feed is on the opposite side on this grill as it was to this one. So my Dremels aren't really working and I don't have a grinder. So these things are not getting through the stainless steel very well. They're breaking, and I decided to put a hole in the back of this since I'm not worried about the aesthetic. I don't care what the back of my grill looks like. I'm just going to take the old cleaver that a friend of mine from Hollywood gave to me. Olio, shout out if you're watching this. He gave me this a long time ago, and I'm just going to cleave through the back of this stainless steel. Just a little groove, just big enough to get the hose through. Drum roll please, here it is, boom. This is the beauty. You can see the knobs didn't line up. That was the first thing that kind of made me upset. And it broke my heart, but it's a little ugly. I think it's gonna work though, and it's definitely, I'm feeling much safer about it. We've been testing it for a few days and I feel a lot better. It's gonna keep the black off our pans. It's gonna stop exploding flames up in our face, and I'm gonna be pretty hyped with it. And it's not the ugliest thing on earth. Once I get to some more materials, I'll be able to fix this, but it's solid in there. The parts don't move. Everything worked out pretty well.
So now that we're done with our projects, it's time to go explore a little bit. There seems to be a cool dinghy river ride, and maybe we can get some ice, maybe some groceries, but I don't know if there's groceries.
Yeah, there's a restaurant over here. It looks pretty cool. There's a little park. Some people are kayaking. The river mouth looks like it drains out some like dirt there, so I don't know if we'll be able to get the dinghy up in there, but I really want to. I'd love to be able to ride up a river in the dinghy. That'd be super hyped. But either way, I think we'll be able to go over there and check it out. It'd be cool if there was like a nice surf break by the mouth of the river, but
There's not going to be.
we don't know. We don't know that.
And instead of us being sad that our whole plan to go to Vieques is now being destroyed, we're gonna be happy that we're free still before we have to settle up
Yeah.
for storms.
Yeah, Trop Storm Gonzalo. They said that Gonzalo means battle. I heard someone say that.
Oh no! Why would they name it this?
That's what they just did it. But either way, so yeah, we're ripping and riding. That's part of the life, though. You know, the ocean tells you what to do. You don't tell it what to do.
on land. There's right at the beach. We parked our dinghy there, and there's a nice park right there.
Looks a little desolate, obviously, this time of life. Parks are usually closed and stuff like that, but there's still some people out. Everyone's trying to have a good time, make the best of it. Beautiful park though. Okay, so we're here at the restaurant. They don't have any ice for sale. There's no stores within walking distance of this beach. So the ladies were pretty nice here, and they said maybe they can call a friend that we may or may not be able to use for a taxi. The people are really kind here. What I found is that they can just call a friend and he'll go to the store and get stuff for you, and then they usually don't even accept money. It's hard to get them to take it. But maybe that's what's gonna happen. Maybe I can get a taxi set up and maybe we can get some groceries today.
Groceries, and thankfully that young girl at the restaurant drove us. I can't even say how nice Puerto Ricans have been to us since we've got here. Yeah, they've been really nice. Every town we go to, people always want to do you favors, give you rides, grab you ice, and they don't even want you to pay them for it. They'll just like buy ice and give it to you, and I'm like, this is crazy. You know, there's some nice people where I come from, but we really ain't about getting off work and giving somebody a ride to the store like that. Not in South Florida. But anyways, even though she didn't want us to pay her, we threw the money in the trunk, and one day she's gonna see it. It's gonna make her day, hopefully. Hopefully. Everybody loves finding $20. Yeah, tell me was it right or wrong. She said, I don't want to take your money. She said specifically, you know, today it's you. Today I'm doing something for you. Tomorrow somebody might do something for me. So she was basically just leaving up to karma. But when we were getting our groceries out of the trunk, we slid the 20 in there. So let us know in the comments, was that right or was that wrong? And, you know, hopefully we did the right thing. It's been a couple days. Gonzalo, the storm, has gone by. We stayed put. Nothing big happened. It was pretty south of us. But now it's following another storm. And this storm looks a lot worse. So we're deciding to sail back to Salinas, and then from there we're gonna decide our hurricane setup. So today we're sailing back. It's not what we want to do, but it's probably the safest thing, and it's not looking good for us. Alright guys, so we made it to Salinas, and as you can see, we got pulled over by the police, but we didn't pull over.
We didn't. We kept on trucking. We don't got the kind of motor where you can just
pull over,
slow it down, pull over, talk to the cops. You got to pretty much keep it at like 3,000 RPMs constantly or else it falls out of gear. So we said, sorry, cops.
We said, we can't pull over. We did one of those where can't hear you. But really what happened? How'd you fix the situation?
Well, I really couldn't hear them. I wasn't pulling anything. Basically, she drove and I went up to the front, the bow of the boat where I could hear a little bit better. And then I was basically just screaming in my best Spanish, which I'll say, my Spanish is getting better. It's getting me through a lot of stickily. It's getting me through a lot of sticky situations. But I basically told him, hey, look, I live in Salinas. Well, I guess we should tell him what the major problem was.
Oh, yeah. We accidentally left on... They brought back curfew for coronavirus. And it's on Sundays. You're not allowed to go anywhere.
Yeah, there's no
and
recreational boating on Sundays. So they rolled up on us and I was like, oh, yeah, you need a permit. And I said, well, this isn't for recreation. This is for the storm that's coming. So we have to get back. And I basically told him that I live in Salinas, which was a little bit of a fib. But I don't really live here.
They
but I will
thought
be
we
here.
were coming from another country and fleeing.
Well,
But we've been in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, they thought we were just having a great time out on the boat today. And they said, So, yeah, we got in trouble for that. But I basically yelled at them, told them I lived here. And they said, okay, have a great day. And that was it. Oh, yeah. And when I was driving away today, I had kept my dinghy lines too short because I was tripping. I was a little off on another world. We left on Sunday, which our video came out this morning from last week. And we all thought that I tried to stab a manatee and a bunch of comments were cussing me out. I would never stab a manatee. That's not right. I'm an animal lover. But I was just kind of absent-minded thinking about why would these crazy people think I stab a manatee? So I tied my dinghy too close and we were going downwind. We were getting like 7 knots. So what happened was the dinghy nose started,
it wasn't funny.
Yeah, it wasn't funny at the time. But the dinghy nose started like going down into the waves.
And it was filling up.
And it was filling up with
at
water.
a fast rate.
And so as I'm untying this to try to let some line out, my finger got caught like this underneath of it. And it was crushing down on me. You know, hit me with one of those. And
he doesn't ever communicate when things are going bad.
Yeah, and Kristen said...
And I turned around and I saw the dinghy filling up. And I said, the dinghy's filling up with water!
And I'm just so lucky because, like, I don't know if y'all's ladies help y'all out or y'all's partners help you out. But Kristen, like, right when I really needed it the most, when my finger was being crushed, the dinghy was going under, right when I was, like, at my wit's end, she said, hey... hurry up! And that was really what I needed to hear. That really helped me get through.
I think it did.
Really helped
I
me
said,
get through
hurry! Because it was about to go under.
Yeah, because I remember it like this as well. I was just over here, tra-la-la, trying to get the dinghy done. I was hurrying. And she pushed me. So, yeah, we almost sunk the dinghy. I think we got some action clips, but not the best because I just
and then you decided to go across the rope to get the dinghy.
Yeah, I just cliffhangered it, shimmied across
I couldn't film, guys, because I had to pay attention to sailing. There was waves, and I couldn't risk him falling off and dying.
Yeah, see.
But I got the end of it.
Yeah, and we had to, like, I had to jump in the water and just kind of grab the dinghy as it was going by like a boss.
So you could unfill it.
So I could throw the water
Unfill.
out. But, yeah, so that's why we don't wear life jackets, because we have to jump in and out of the water all the time, and if that jacket would have popped as soon as it hit the water, I'd have been, you know, having a hard time. So that's why we don't wear life jackets, so we can jump in the dinghy real easy if we need to. All right, so the reason we had to boogie back to Salinas was because there's a bad storm coming. Tropical Invest 92L doesn't have a name yet. I think it's going to be an I, but it's going to be a bad storm. We had Gonzalo last week that some of our friends down in Grenada had to deal with. And there was some harrowing tales of people trying to outrun it, go to different islands, and a couple of our buddies had a hard time. Jazz and Andrew, if you're watching, we're glad you're safe. Yeah, so we had to get out and get back to Salinas. Salinas is a pretty safe hurricane hole, at least as safe as you can have for a place that gets smashed by hurricanes. But boats here survived Maria, they survived Irma, so it's looking like we're not going to get anything that crazy. Pray for us. God willing, we don't get nothing that nuts, but there's some little spots in here where you can hide, some little hidey holes, so we're going to be throwing down the big tackle and setting up for that. So that's going to be probably next week's video. We won't be showing none of that today. But yeah, that was the main thing, and I think that's what made sailing so rough today, is because the remnants from Gonzalo were south of us, 200 miles south of us, but there was some swell out there today. There was some swell, and the old dinger was getting knocked around, so... it was crazy. It was
Hopefully
fun
we
sail
don't
out
get
there.
any tornadoes and nothing horrible happens to us.
Yeah, no
Keep
tornadoes.
us in your thoughts, and we're gonna be as safe as we can.
Yeah, I mean, everything shut down this
Part
year.
of the adventure.
Shut down the travel stuff. We don't really want to go quarantine somewhere and have to deal with that crazy nonsense. So we're staying in Puerto Rico for the hurricane season, and you know, we're gonna ride the lightning, dance with the devil. We're gonna do all of it, and hopefully it works out for us. But you know, I'm not scared. We have a giant anchor.
I'm not scared.
We have a giant anchor, and we have some chains. So you know, it's the will of the gods now.
Alright guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week, and keep up with our adventures. Make sure you subscribe and like this video and hit that bell button so you can see the horrors that might come. Bye!